Yay! And live.
Awesome. So we are live. Let me just go back to the original events page and try to make sure everybody's moved over. We've got some.
Did you email the links out to everyone, or?
I will send that to you guys now.
Okay.
Sorry about that. This is our first demo call, so there are going to be some growing pains.
That's how we roll.
Exactly. Let me make sure that everybody can find us.
Technology, man.
All right, awesome. Let me make sure we have everybody. Cool. Carrie, do you want to go ahead and give us an introduction? I think we have a couple of viewers.
Yes, I would. So welcome to the Gigabit demo call. We thought this would be an interesting way to kind of show and tell and share resources and kind of mix and mingle technologists and educators and people kind of working in the space where we're leveraging Gigabit technology to create and innovate new and exciting things. With the Gigabit Fund in particular, we have a lens by which we examine these types of technologies as they relate to education. But this call is really a broader opportunity for us to really look at what's happening both in Chattanooga and Kansas City, but all over the country, really. So we're looking at bringing in the Mozilla audience, both staffers and contributors, and the broader kind of community who are dabbling in Gigabit development. So we look at this as kind of the spring pad and maybe a launching point to really build some conversations, put ourselves in a fishbowl because this is actively what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, and we're excited about what we've been able to bring to a living laboratory setting in Kansas City and Chattanooga with the first round of projects. So in particular, we've got a couple of projects, one from Kansas City and one from Chattanooga, that will kind of give us a little snippet of their project in a demo format. And we're hoping that this will just create some kind of popcorn momentum for these types of projects. And we really want to give you guys an opportunity to show and tell what you're working on. Sometimes, as we've found in these calls, every time we've got a couple people in the room, somebody benefits from somebody else's experience or network or contacts in a way that is really meaningful. So we just want to give us a forum to really share and promote these types of builds and makes. So thank you all for taking time to kind of experiment with us. We'll continue to evaluate sort of the value proposition of what we're doing here so that we continue to bring you something that's cool to see and cool to participate in.
Awesome. And guys, if you have questions about the demos, you can add them on the events page and also tag them #GigDemo, and I'll add that to our new events page. And we'll be watching for questions throughout. So if you have anything and want to pop in and ask questions, please do. And Jonathan, do you want to go ahead and give us your demo from Kansas City?
Sure, I'd love to.
Awesome.
All right, so again, I'm sorry if I don't have a video camera out there, folks, for the folks that are watching, but I'll try to rectify that next time. So I'm Jonathan Wagner, and I am the CEO and founder of a company called Big Bang, and we specialize in real-time connectivity for basically any sort of device. So it could be mobile applications, desktop applications, web applications. The project that we've been working on for the past, I think, 6 weeks now is something called the Gigabots. And the Gigabots brings internet-connected robotics to K through 12 K through 12 education. So right now we're working with the Lego Mindstorms, which is a very, very popular platform for robotics all throughout school. Just in the Kansas City area alone, I think that something like 12,000 or 13,000 students participate in either First Robotics or Junior First Lego League or First Lego League. So there's a lot of students participating in that, and the Gigabots really is bringing internet connectivity to those platforms to give them the opportunity to perform different types of either experiments or challenges, or just explore different sort of ideas that that it's really very difficult to work on with sort of unconnected devices. And what a Gigabot really is it's software. So it's software that we install on these robots. It is it's the hardware. It's the robotics hardware, which is currently the Lego Mindstorms EV3s. And then it's also a cloud platform that basically solves the problem of device discovery and real-time connectivity. So these devices are standalone. They don't need to be tethered to a computer or anything like that. So I've got one of these guys sitting on my desktop. All he needs is Wi-Fi access, and he can talk to the internet. He can talk to other robots, and he can talk to other connected devices. I'm going to give you just a little demo here of the dashboard that we've been working on, and this is sort of the initial concept that allows students to basically get telemetry information from these robots in real time and control the robots in real time. And you can kind of think of it like a big sort of purpose-built remote control for these robots. We're now also working on allowing students to actually program the Gigabots directly from here. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can share this for you correctly. Okay, does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is the dashboard, and this is hooked to a robot that's sitting right here on my desktop, and his name is Jeff. Apparently, we have our other mascot robot. His name is Gigabot Prime, which my sons really liked. But so the feature that this robot has is he has a bunch of sensors on him. I don't know if you can see. I'll sort of point my mouse at him, but he's got this touch sensor. And you can see that as I'm touching it, we're getting this real-time feedback from the robot. Also, you can look up here and see that he has an infrared sensor, and if I move my hand back and forth, in real time we see the distance telemetry information for this sensor. So it's really cool that it shows up in this dashboard like this, but anybody else that was connected to this from anywhere in the world can see this information as well. And similarly, we've been working on designing sort of, I think, an experiment or demonstration that shows how these robots can use the sharing of this information in real time to perform tasks. And the sort of benefit here is that, or the problem that we're solving for these students is that kind of getting all this stuff and establishing all these connections is really, really difficult. But once you get the information, using the information is actually pretty fun and easy. It's like after you get the plumbing out of the way, you can do lots of stuff with water once it gets to your house, and that's sort of the way that we look at it. The other thing is you can control the robot's motors here. I'm not going to drive him around too much because he's going to roll off of my desk, but but we can drive him back and forth, and the students can also, since these robots, the Mindstorms platform supports 4 motors at once, we can allow them to sort of gang the motors together to control multiple motors at once. For example, if they have a a 2-wheeled robot or something like that. So that's really the dashboard right now. We're going to be giving sort of a full demo in Kansas City on Tuesday. So if you happen to be in the area, we'd love to see you for that. We're also going to be, at the end of the month, we're going to be at the US Ignite Applications Expo out in, I think it's in Santa Clara, California, and also at the KC Makers Fair, or KC Maker Fair at the end of the month. So I'd really encourage anyone that's listening to come by and sort of check us out. And I'd love to answer any questions anybody has, or anything like that. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. And I'm going to watch for a second and see if we have any questions before we move to our Chattanooga team.
In the meantime, if you don't mind me asking, Jonathan, what got you really interested in developing this kind of robotics application?
Awesome question.
Well, so the focus for my company is really on real time, and there's a lot of interest in there's obviously a lot of interest in ways that we can use sort of real time connectivity for collaborative applications or synchronous experiences between users. So there's a lot of folks that have interest in things like multiplayer games or writing collaborative applications, sort of like you can think of the Etherpad that we use for our calls, for an example, or Google Docs. But I also think there's a really big opportunity for combining those types of real-time experiences with basically devices that currently aren't connected. So if you think about the Internet of Things or the Internet of Everything, I sort of see the robotics as sort of an extension of that. And I think there could be a lot of really interesting applications for connected devices, and specifically for robotics, for using them to monitor things, or to to be able to control them and make use of them remotely. And so I thought this was a really interesting sort of laboratory to to get an opportunity to hook up these these devices. And I guess the other benefit is that I think that we actually took the Gigabots to a classroom just a few weeks ago, and they were really, really excited about it. I hadn't actually mentioned the word drones ever in any of my materials, but all of them were like, "Can we hook this up to a drone? Can we fly a drone with this? Can we?" They were all like really excited about that. So I could see that they understood sort of the opportunity and the sort of the possibilities for connected robotics.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have questions, I will continue to track them and share them with Jonathan so we can get you answers about this tool and application he's developing. And guys in Chattanooga, do you want to go ahead and get started? Andrew and Stuart, who are developing Viditor, which is an in-browser collaborative video editing application.
Thanks. So yeah, as she mentioned, my name's Stuart. This is Andrew over here, and we're part of, she mentioned Viditor, which is an idea of basically bringing video editing to the web. So instead of you having to download an application to the iPad, to Windows, to Mac, whatever, you can just use your web browser, whatever it is, and it uses open web technologies to essentially allow us to edit video. So no requiring of Flash, Java, any sort of plugins like that. It all works in just open web technologies, and that also means, as we mentioned, you don't need any particular device to use it. You can use it on your iPad, an Android tablet, Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever. Any modern web browser such as Firefox, Chrome, etc. will be able to handle it. And I'll go ahead and get this started. We will have Andrew, my buddy. He will demonstrate. There we go. Can you see the screen okay? All right, good. So I'm going to let him kind of show off some of the features of it, but over around here. Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, so we've been developing Viditor for a bit more than a year now, and what we've been trying to do is develop something that people can use from wherever they are and whenever they are. So a lot of our goals this spring period for the Mozilla Community Fund was to develop a video editor that is accessible from lots of different devices, and more importantly, a lot of people can use together so they can collaborate. So if any of our UI elements look like they're ripped directly from Google Docs, that wasn't intentional, but that's how it looks like. A lot of our elements were inspired by other collaborative platforms. But we wanted this to be a tool where people can use how to use a video editor, so we try to keep the elements and other UI standards of video editing inside our video editor. So this is our playback, where you can actually play the video. This is your list of assets, and this is the timeline where you can kind of compose your video in relation to their connection to each other.
Yeah, essentially, as you would normally in a video editor, you'd be able to move files over and position them as you need to, depending on what scene you want to play or something like that.
One of our biggest milestones for this last couple weeks is that we actually were able to establish the account system for people to log in and upload their assets. The uploading is really slow and the processing takes forever, but at least people can now play with their own assets. So these are assets that we upload ourselves. They're upside down. We still haven't figured out why it does that, but for some reason Vidder flips the videos. That's something we'll just have to figure out eventually. But for now, just to show you a bit of what we have, you can click and drag and move assets around in the timeline according to their position altogether. So I'm just going to quickly compose a short video just using the assets that we've already uploaded. So yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna position these. Our previous UI, if you remember, at our last demo meeting, we had dragging and dropping using jQuery behaviors. We had to temporarily remove that because we've been working with our good friend Alfonso, who's helping us with the design period, but that was messing up his design. But we'll be adding that back in shortly. That's a long one. Let me add this one at the end. But yeah, so people can compose their video. Let's see here, yeah. And another thing we've added since our last meet is that the timeline will actually recognize pauses. So in this, each of these ticks is a second, and because there's a spot in between these, there'll be a break, which is useful for video editing because that way we can layer things in our time tracks. So I'm going to go ahead and play this and see how that looks. So first, it's a blank screen because these first couple seconds aren't populated by video. And
you can see how there's a time tracker to show you what second it's on the video.
And then it starts playing the first video.
And if it's a little choppy, that's just because of that. Just maybe more Google Hangouts. If you have it on your own screen, it will be very clear and flow just like you would expect. Again, we apologize. These are upside down. This is some bug, particularly with the video I send in for some reason.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But the most important part of what we were trying to do here is make something collaborative. We're soon going to be going to the public Chattanooga library. We're hoping children can actually just sit down and use and edit together the video together. I, for one, used to do a lot of acting, a lot of theater, and we would record long amounts of footage, but it was important to be able to edit it all together. But because there are at least 2 hours worth of footage and one person had to do it because video editors didn't allow people to work together, I had to do it all by myself. But with this kind of system, students could sit down and on a group project that they have to do for school, they could actually work together at composing a video.
Another example I could give is about a year or two back, a good friend of mine had a wedding, and he asked me to film the wedding, which was great. I had several people help me with being able to film that, several cameras, but it was a pain to just have to put in one memory card, send that, then pull out myself, put that in. It'd be great if I could just have all the editors be able to send that in all at the same time.
Yeah. Could you go ahead and try split screening this for us so we can show that off?
So yeah, we talked about it being collaborative. So what you're able to do is,
let's see if we can get these all pulled up.
As you can see, we have Chrome here and we have Firefox, and both of them have the exact same video project going on at the same time. And likewise, if we take in one of these and we go ahead and move it, you can see in both browsers, even though I'm only editing in one, you can see the edits going on at the same time in real time.
We really need to start adding other UI elements similar to what Google Docs has, where you can see the other users as they're browsing. It'd be really cool to see where in the video their cursor was, so you can see where they were watching. Those are things we're currently working on. We really want to make a nice, clean front-end experience. But until then, we're just going to keep working on this. We've recently adopted Meteor.js. I don't know if anyone listening or anyone here in the talk knows what Meteor.js is, but it's really useful in establishing these real-time connections in the browser. So I just have to make one call in one browser, and it instantly updates in the other. So yeah, you want to go back to the talk?
Yep.
Let's switch back to camera.
Alrighty. Yeah. And there we go.
So yeah, that's the demo we currently have, and we're totally interested in hearing some questions.
Let's see if I can stop the screen share. Hey, we're back.
Ta-da!
Our faces are cut in half, but
Awesome, guys. I will watch Twitter and Discourse, and these guys will also be answering your questions later if anything pops up. Can you guys tell us where you're piloting this? I know you mentioned the library, but are you working with any other groups?
we recently actually worked with Baylor, which unfortunately we weren't able to fully demonstrate the project. Our initial idea for that was to work with Baylor to allow the students to, they were going to have a design class and be able to, they were studying video editing at the end. So we wanted to be able to allow the students to use Viditor to help them learn video editing as well as get feedback on the project. And they could use Viditor to use it.
But at the time, I hadn't finished the account system, and the upload was still slow, and so the students actually couldn't use their own assets. In the end, we were able to bring Viditor to Baylor, and it was really cool. They got an experience to actually, like, use a video editor, especially one that's
awesome.
created. But they couldn't upload their own assets, and they couldn't use them, and they couldn't share projects, which was a bit of a bummer.
But
hey,
hopefully next year, right?
Totally. And there's always Baylor summer camps as well. We may
awesome.
continue to pursue those as well.
And Baylor was still very happy with what we were able to demonstrate, even if it couldn't be allowing the students. They ended up changing their project. Part of it ended up being that Baylor started sooner than we had expected. But overall, Baylor was really happy with what we were able to demonstrate, and also being able to talk with the kids, especially working as a group, collaborating, and building something we wanted to. So as of right now, we're working with that. There also is a possibility to work with UTC. There are a couple classes that do video editing, especially in the business field, and that's one place we are going to start exploring. Libraries, the first one we're going to, though. That's going to be the soonest.
Jonathan, if you're still there, where are you piloting your project in Kansas City?
I'm piloting my project with schools. It's a little bit the timing was a little tricky with the end of school occurring, but I've done some work with the schools, and they're also pretty much all of the high school robotics programs are going to be at the Maker Faire.
Cool.
So we're doing some work with them there, and I'm trying to get some work with the with a couple of the summer programs that we're doing with where the high school and junior high programs do robotics in the summer. So
that's fantastic. It has been interesting with the pilot period over this summer, but it's exciting that you guys are finding some informal education environments to test and pilot your ideas. If this call for our viewers has spurred any of your own Gigabit ideas, our next application deadline is next Friday. So I'm going to share with you really quickly our website where you can find all of the application information. So this year this round we're using iStart to submit applications. So it's a really user-friendly application submission tool, and you have 7 days left to submit your application for this next round. The pilot period for that round will be through September 26th. So the idea for these projects is that they have to be focused on workforce development or education. They have to you must work with a partner in Kansas City or Chattanooga, and that you need to be able to pilot them in this 12-week pilot window. So both Carrie and I are happy to discuss your project ideas with you, and I know these teams, Jonathan and Andrew and Stuart, would love to answer any questions you have about the Gigabit Community Fund in general. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And also I wanted to show you Mozilla has this wonderful new community discussion forum called Discourse, and we have actually begun a topic to begin discussing these calls. So I will add this to the event page, this link. So if you have any questions or ideas, and maybe you don't want to just put it all out there on Twitter, if you want to join Discourse to continue the conversation, that would be awesome. Carrie, anything else for our first demo call?
Yeah, I have a question for both of the demo teams, that Viditor and Gigabots. I'm wondering if you guys have given thought to resubmitting in this second round to further develop and deploy on your existing project.
Jonathan, would you like to go first on that?
Sure, I'll go first. Yes, I have. I think that there's a lot of opportunities for this project for an additional round to add some more of the collaborative features that I think would be really useful for the students to do things like share code and to help them sort of connect their devices together easily, from disparate locations. So I think it would be less focused on the on maybe sort of the core features of the robots and more on sort of maybe more of the community and collaborative features. So yes, definitely.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. How about you guys?
Yeah, we're certainly looking into it. It's an exciting prospect. We are having to look into the fact that school will be starting toward the end of it, so it is a consideration. But so that does take a little bit of thinking. But at this point, we're very excited, and we are still thinking about joining up again. That being said, we're even if we don't get the chance to join, we're super excited. And we'd love to help out with anyone who does get a chance to apply. We'd love to answer any questions about that.
Awesome. Hey, Viditor Project, you have a question on Twitter.
Hey.
You.
Awesome. So, do you guys have any plans for continuous timestamps instead of discrete second-by-second timestamps?
That is from @fpruitt0922.
Totally. At the moment, we're doing it all at a granularity of 1 second each, but a very important feature of most video editors is that you can zoom in and out, and so you can get down to the nanosecond level if you want to really tinker with your video at that frame.
You got to be really pro to edit at nanoseconds.
We totally would need to get to the point where instead of just doing second-by-second timestamps, we get to a more continuous stage. So it's not just jumping from second to second.
Yeah, so the short answer there is yes, we're looking at that. At this point, we're going to keep it at 1 second, but the idea is you'll be able to zoom in and out in the timeline, and so that timestamp, that time mover, will change to represent nanoseconds, milliseconds, full seconds, whatever it is the time frame based on how zoomed in and out you are into the timeline.
The smallest amount you can get is by frame, the actual frame of the video.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I knew he had been wondering that question for a little bit. I think the gentleman accidentally submitted at the Mozilla Gigabit Twitter account rather than the hashtag. So use the hashtag, folks.
But we got it. We got the question, which is awesome.
Thank you, Forrest.
Yeah, if anybody else has questions, we will stay on the line, but I just posted on our event page the Etherpad where you can sign up to demo on one of these awesome First Friday calls if you want to join in, if you have an idea that you want to share with this great group. Then we'll be doing this on the first Friday of every month. The next week, July's call will actually be on the 12th because of the July 4th holiday. But we would love to have you and continue these conversations. So thank you guys, and we will all lurk on Twitter for the next little bit to answer any questions that you might have about Gigabots or about Viditor Project. And this call has been recorded, so I will post that link for all of you to share widely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.